Well, meanwhile, George Galloway is facing criticism for saying that the allegations against Julian Assange don't constitute rape. In a video posted online, the Respect MP says the claims against the WikiLeaks founder amounted to bad sexual etiquette, but not rape.
If the allegations made by these two women were true, 100% true, and even if a camera in the room captured them, they don't constitute rape. At least not rape as anyone with any sense can possibly recognise it.
Well, Sky's political correspondent Sophie Ridge is here. Sophie, for the avoidance of doubt, legally, what he's been charged with, would that count as rape here in the UK?
Well, there's been a bit of confusion because in Sweden there's various grades of rape that get different sentences. But if you look at what the UK courts have been saying when they've been examining Mr Assange's appeals against extradition and so on, then actually they're pretty clear. So the Magistrates' Court said one of the allegations would amount to rape in this country. The Supreme Court agrees, saying what was described in the European arrest warrant was rape. So I think when George Galloway is saying that, in his opinion, it wouldn't be rape, well, the UK courts appear to be disagreeing with him.
A lot of pressure on him to apologise. One from the Lib Dem MP, Jo Swinson, saying that she's appalled that an MP could be so grossly irresponsible to suggest that this is anything other than rape. Do you think we're likely to see an apology from Mr Galloway?
Well, it's quite hard to say. At the moment, George Galloway is travelling. That's why he hasn't really said anything, to be honest, since last night. But if you look at his Twitter feed from yesterday evening, when these first came out, what he'd been saying, then he did seem quite unrepentant, and it's clear that he is a real supporter of Julian Assange, particularly the work that he's doing on WikiLeaks, and the video blog that he gave out earlier, again, very clearly saying that he thinks that Julian Assange has been set up. But if this does keep rumbling on, and certainly a lot of charities, the Rape Crisis Group, etc., have really condemned him in strong terms, and I think when he does land off that plane and come back, perhaps to the UK, then he might have something to answer.
Sophie, thanks very much. Well, joining me now live from Staffordshire is the independent rape campaigner Jill Sayward, and here in the studio is Lisa Longstaff from Women Against Rape. Nice to see you both. Let's go to Jill first of all, up in Staffordshire. Jill, what do you make of George Galloway's comments? Should he be apologising pretty swiftly, do you think?
I think an apology is too little too late now. I think that he really should stand down. I think what he said is very, very damaging. It's put the cause back 20 years probably in people's understanding, and it's certainly very, very detrimental towards victims.
I'm joined in the studio by Lisa Longstaff. Lisa, what's your reaction to this? Because I understand that you're not quite as critical of George Galloway as we might expect.
Well, I don't think that George Galloway seems to know much about rape or about the rape law. But I think what women are concerned about is that our issue and our pain and suffering has been used in this terrible way to make a political point and to, you know, chase after Assange in a way that no other rapists have been pursued in the past. And that's what infuriates us. You know, we've been campaigning to get rape taken seriously for 35 years, and we're banging our head against a wall all the time, taking rape to the police. Women are being disbelieved, discounted, evidence not being gathered properly. Women are being deported and sent back to places where they face further torture and rape. And other men who've been accused of thousands of rapes, like General Pinochet, for example, in 1998, came here and was protected by the British government.
But just because we have a bad record on protecting other women who've been raped and protecting men who've committed rapes doesn't mean that we should take less of an attitude towards Mr Assange, does it?
I don't agree that Julian Assange is not the person to make an example of, and that just shows you, the unusual zeal with which he's been pursued shows you that this is not about rape anymore. The issue of rape, you can't distinguish rape. You can't say that the anti-rape movement is separate from all other things that are happening in the world. You know, we are living in this world. We know, people know that there is another agenda afoot here, and there are issues being played out which have nothing to do with women's safety.
But that's not what the two women in Sweden would say. The two women who've brought these charges, they would argue that their rights are not being supported. They deserve to put those charges to him in court, and he deserves to answer them.
Yes, and those two women have been treated very badly. Their anonymity has been breached, And, you know, we think it's very important that in this case, very basic principles of how rape should be handled have been broken. You know, they have the right to anonymity, which has already been breached. They have the right not for all their personal details to be, you know, shown all over the media and the internet. And he, like any other person, has the right to be assumed to be innocent until proven guilty. But you cannot remove that from the international furore which has been stoked up by the media. And, you know, it's clear that the US and UK and Sweden, they just have another agenda. And, I mean, you'd have to be stupid not to be able to see that.
Jill Sayward, let's cross back to you. I mean, what do you feel as an observer who's been watching this Assange case from afar? Do you feel he's being made a scapegoat, or would you like to see him go back to Sweden to face these charges?
I think that he should go to Sweden and answer the allegations. And I think that, you know, it's all right to say somebody's been made a scapegoat or whatever, but I think you also have to bear in mind that there are a lot of people who, in inverted commas, are deemed celebrity, who seem to think that they're untouchable. And we need to send a very clear message to people that they're not untouchable. And yes, there might be other issues going on, but let's deal with the issue that this man is wanted for in Sweden. He's wanted to talk about the allegations that have been made. And it's only fair for those women to have that, and for people to come out and sort of ignore the sexual assault charges is just wrong on all levels, and sends so many messages out to women that sexual assault doesn't matter, and that is so wrong. And, you know, that is what we have to keep challenging.
Lisa and Jill, I'm afraid we're out of time. We could talk about this all day, but thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.